Welcome to all those in attendance to the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting held here at the George Keller Public Assembly Room on the 12th day of August, 2021 at 5 p.m. I will call the meeting to order at this time and let the record reflect we have a quorum to do business for the city. Moving right into the first item, which are the minutes of the regular meeting on July 22nd, 2021. Are there any corrections, deletions to those minutes? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
By Mr. Clark. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Brown. Is there questions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Those minutes are approved. On unfinished business, we have the one item A. We will not entertain item B, which is not ready for our current action. Approval of the contract for the towing recovery service with Zors Inc. Company. And I don't know if the city attorney has any comments on this.
Just a quick one. So Zors has already executed this, and the last remaining item was in Section 8. They're going to tow certain city vehicles that don't exceed 1.5 tons gross vehicle weight for free. But there was supposed to be like a mutual fee for heavier vehicles established between Zors and the board. They suggested a flat rate of $150 per vehicle. For the heaviest city vehicles they'd have to tow. They said that's what they do with all of their contracts. So that's what's in here and that's what they've signed. So that's, if that item is okay with you all, everything else has pretty much already been agreed upon.
Do we know that's the standard?
I don't really necessarily know if there is a standard. They said for them there was a standard. I personally looked and couldn't really see anything applicable out there, but I don't think it seems unreasonable.
Okay.
I'm not sure how often that would even come into play, that they would need to tow a city vehicle that's that weight. I don't think it's something that's going to happen really often.
Right.
Maybe a salt truck full of salt. I can only be about the heaviest vehicle.
150 doesn't seem too bad for
Right?
that.
Yep.
A lot of weight, right. Other questions for city attorney? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the contract for towing recovery service with Zor Inc.?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Clark, is there a second?
Second.
Questions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Zor's contract is approved. New business before the board today is approval of item A, approval of equipment purchase agreement with Blue Pillar. Are there any comments on this, or we did get the information on that? Does anybody have any questions?
No, it's been approved through all the channels and
Right.
so.
Is there a motion to approve the equipment purchase agreement with Blue Pillar?
Motion to
By
approve.
Mr. Clark. Is there a second?
Second.
By Mrs. Brown. Are questions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. It is approved. Moving right along to item B, approval of Resolution 15, 2021, lease of the firehouse at 6450 Franklin Road, Dingers and Diplomats. So
Landon Road.
we have, anybody make,
Oak Landon Road.
yeah, it's on Oak Landon Road. That's the old firehouse right by the train park?
Yep.
The park there. Oh, Joe Murphy's going to make some comments.
Thank you. Yeah, Joe Murphy, Deputy Chief of Staff, City of Lawrence. I've also brought along Mike Springer, who's the head of Dingers and Diplomas, to share with you guys a little bit about his organization and what they plan on doing with the space. As you mentioned, the firehouse at 6450 Oak Landon was actually it's a retired Oak Landon community firehouse. It was part of the volunteer fire service back when that community was organized before it was incorporated into the City of Lawrence. More recently, it's been used as kind of overflow storage for our streets department, along with some of our Christmas decorations for Civic Plaza and other areas of town. Some of the wreaths that we hang on the Christmas are on the light poles and such. So we've had that space cleared out. It's in pretty bad need of disrepair. However, the city's not entirely interested in doing a whole lot with it because it doesn't really serve a purpose for our city. Mike, however, has kind of been hounding me for the last 8 months. He needs a space for his organization to use indoor practice facilities for youth athletics. I thought it was a nice little pairing, an opportunity to get something out of the city's hands into someone's hands that's going to use it and really appreciate the space. And so I hope you've had a chance to review the lease already. It's an opportunity to lease for initial term of 2 years with 3 extensions, each being 2 years. I believe it's $2 a year for the lease, so it's essentially an in-kind situation. But they are going to put a pretty significant investment into cleaning that space up for us, and it should be a really nice asset to the community. So, Mike, would you like to come up and just share a little bit about what you plan on doing with the space and what your organization's about?
So, as Joe mentioned, my name is Mike Springer. I have been a head coach of softball out at OYO and on Veteran Memorial, part of the organization. Have been on the board, transitioned off last year, been out there for 8 years, predominantly on the softball side. For the last 3 years, I have had a full-time travel softball team, started with 13-year-olds, and they are all now 15 or 16 in various Lawrence or Mount Vernon schools. With the growth of the rec program, we have very limited space to practice, and we were looking for a private facility for our girls' team. We are aspiring to go to college as a place to practice, and so we saw the space, connected with Joe. Our plans are, and I don't know, there is a PDF around that you can see. It probably won't look exactly like that, but that's our goal, to eventually get to that way. The immediate goal would be to clean up the outside, probably add flowers, start to paint, make the external portion of it very attractive, and then we'll start to work inside, hitting cages for our girls. We plan to renovate and have a workout facility for them where they can work plyometrically or strength. We're going to have an audio-visual room where we can watch game film and tape so that they can see themselves play. And so it should be a really nice situation that hopefully we can take a place in a very populated place in Lawrence. We drive by there every single day, turn it into a really nice building and use it really wisely and take care of it. And then when we're done, turn it back over or transition it maybe into another team in Oakland. And so that's our goal, that's our hope, and we'll take good care of it. We've got 11 girls that are really ready to get going. So. I don't know if you have any questions for me, but.
Do you have funding already in place to do all this renovation? And
We do. We have kind of a foundation of a team budget that the parents pay for the full-time travel. Part of that budget every year is to pay for indoor facilities to practice. So we have about 50% of our annual budget is allocated to paying other. So we're simply going to use that money and allocate it back to ourselves, pay it back to dingers and diplomas, which stands for home runs and graduation. That's the naming of that. So that's how we'll pay the utilities. That's how we'll pay for the renovations. We are also seeking a corporate sponsor that might be willing to invest some capital with us to be able to help push some of that stuff faster.
so I would hate for you to start and run out of money. I guess that would be my concern.
Sure.
If you don't have the whole budget in place. So is that part of, I didn't see that as a contingent of the lease or the contract, or that the financing was in place?
So is your question, Mark, about the cost of the renovations or the cost to maintain the lease? Because the lease itself is it's the $2.
No, I understand that. I'm talking about the renovation.
Oh, okay.
And to make it
Right.
usable for this purpose.
Well, I don't want to speak for Mike, but I think that they've got, like you said, an existing cash base that they can go ahead and put in to get the facility operational to the point where they can get in and start using it. I think some of the things that you'll see in the attachment, which includes like cardio bikes, free weight equipment, things like that, those are some of the things that may be slightly more funding dependent, but I feel confident that over the course of that first 2 years and to extend all the way to that 8-year period, they can reach that goal. I think that the primary use, which is going to be the batting cages and some of the training facilities, are, I would say, are already covered, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And many of our families are also prepared to just invest financially in the growth of that because it's certainly beneficial. So I don't foresee any issue with having enough money to facilitate what we have outlined in the package.
Are you going to help Because I know there's a shortage, especially on the women's side, videotaping and sending to colleges. I mean, that's a niche that someone wanted to start a business, it'd be a good one. Just concentrating on girls' sports.
Yes.
Is that part of what the diploma piece is?
Yes, part of what we do as a team is we have Twitter accounts, we have Instagram accounts, we have connecting. We're playing in front of 3 colleges this year in the fall, going specifically to recruit. So part of what we do is also provide video analysis and highlights of their year, highlights of a tournament that are able to be sent to coaches. So as far as a business ourselves, that Dingers and Diploma is not in business to make money off of videotaping.
It's part of the
It's part of the
package.
process to get kids seen at the college level.
Yeah,
It's an-
Mike's organization is filed for nonprofit status, and that's currently being reviewed by the state. And you'll see language, Kayla can speak about language in the document, but everything that they earn or they fundraise is going to go right back into that program, whether it's the facility or the uniforms or the girls themselves. So.
And it is private to our team. We are not leasing it out and making money off of 50 other travel teams that are going to come in. It is specific to us, so.
Is this a long-term kind of thing? I mean, are you planning on being there for 10 years or 20 years? Or?
It just depends. Our kids, this current team will age out in 3 years, but that doesn't mean that I'll stop coaching. So there will always be a refinement, or there will be the opportunity for perhaps somebody else, another team who is coming up to the 16 or 18U level at OYO. You might know Mike DeSanto or Brittany Anderson or those folks that are part of that might want to have access to that when we age out. Okay.
Okay.
Prior to storage, wasn't it a youth center? I was thinking
For
kids would,
Oklahoma
yeah.
Christian Church.
Yeah, I remember that, okay.
It's actually set up very nice for,
That's what I figured.
with the long bays for where the engines were housed. That's a wonderful place for batting cages.
I assume, I just had a question, that you've looked into obviously you're going to use this in the winter quite a bit for your hitting cages and that kind of thing, that you've looked into the mechanics of the facility. So you've got restroom there for the girls, and you've got heat. Not that we need to talk about that today, but certainly you've taken a look at that. I have no idea what kind of shape all that's in, but.
We have had contractors there early in the
Okay.
time when we've seen the facility. All the utilities are currently functional.
Okay.
To the degree with the efficiency of the furnace, I don't know, and I'm sure we'll keep it rather chilly to avoid extensive utilities costs, but all the utilities are functional.
Okay, good. Good to know. Yep.
Yes,
Sir. Name, please.
Dan Zerner with the City of Lawrence.
Yes, sir.
Many of you may know me as the Economic Development Director, but I wear a lot of hats.
That's right.
And I wanted you to all know that this isn't something that's been taken lightly. This process has been discussed for pretty close to a year
Good.
in the mayor's circle and others. One of the things that brought this to light, we started looking for different uses. We've had 3 or 4 offers on that building, none of which we thought were good for the community. Also, we have had the first few crime complaints in that area of businesses thinking there's not enough traffic and not enough people around often enough, one of which is right across the street from this. So we think the viability of having this group in there and the cleanup that they're going to do and the outside appearance that they've committed to, plus just having them in the neighborhood. Plus, I wanted you to know that we have had extensive discussions through Joe, and by the way, Joe's done a terrific job with this, and Caitlin's been a big help lately. But we've looked and discussed the fact that we did not allow them to have recorded access to all the parking behind the building that might negatively impact the park. So we've looked at all of these aspects. This isn't something that's been lightly taken. And I just wanted you to know we think we've crossed the T's and dot the I's, and we believe this is the perfect use for this at this point in time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate your comments on that. Joe, any further comments?
No, I think that sums it up. I would ask for a motion for approval.
Okay. Any other questions?
Nope.
Hearing none, before us is approval resolution number 15, 2021. Is there a motion to adopt
Motion to adopt.
by Mr. Clark? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Browner. Is there questions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0, so that resolution is approved, and good luck to all of you that are starting your athletic softball action out there, and I'm sure it'll benefit all the youth, not only in Lawrence, but around the Lawrence area. So good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Item D, approval professional service agreement with,
Number C.
I missed C, sorry about that. Approval of lease agreement for 6450 Oak Landon Road, Dingers and Diplomats, which is the next process of this. So is there a motion to approve the lease?
Motion for approval.
Mr. Clark, is there a second?
Second.
By Mrs. Browner. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0, so the resolution and the lease are approved. Then we go to item D, approval of professional service agreement with 7NT for on-call construction inspections. And we have comments from our city engineer.
Sri Venugopalan, city engineer. A few weeks ago, I came with another on-call inspection agreement for another consultant. The whole goal with having a second consultant is we are starting to do this more and more on our private developments to have an oversight on our end before we accept streets and storm sewers and utilities in general. So we wanted a second consultant to be there in case, so we can, pick and choose who is available to go and do it, because a lot of this comes in the last minute with a 24 to 48 hour notice. And I want to have that flexibility to have multiple people ready to go do this inspection and make sure they do the necessary testing. So 6 months from then, we accept the road as a city road or a city utility. We have documentation that everything is done right. 7NT is a minority business. They're based out of Indianapolis. They've done this kind of work quite a bit around Indianapolis and other communities. So this would add to our minority participation as well.
Questions? Okay, thank you for those comments.
One quick.
One question here, Mr. Clark.
I read the article in the paper about the inspections and signing off on the developments and, the quality of the roads and sewers that was going on in Indianapolis and going on the southeast side. Is this part of that process too?
Yeah, I think over the years, we have not had a good oversight. Even though our ordinance does say that we can do that oversight. So a part of doing doing everything better in a better way in a right direction, this was some of the steps that we have taken. So we have an oversight when things are being built, and which will be turned over to us eventually, which has happened over the years. And we have issues where we can't go back. We don't have the documentation of how it was built. Because certain things have to be done right, storm sewers have to be installed right, backfilled right, and if we are not looking at it, then you don't get that quality, and you don't have to do certain testing. So this is all part of getting us the quality we need before we take responsibility of that.
No, that's
And I wanted to have a second consultant or a second firm in there in case we have multiple things come up and one firm is not ready. I can go and take another firm, and they do the work and give us a documentation to signed off on it.
No, that's good. Thank you very much.
Another set of eyes and
Yep.
opinion. Yeah, that's great. Any other questions? No. Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the professional service agreement with?
And I just wanted to add one more thing to that. A lot of the times, this inspection, even though we are paying for 7NT, this will be recouped from the developer at a later time. This will be part of, we will have contracts with the developers may have them pay for this inspection or anything else. So this is not a revenue loss for us. This will recoup the revenue in a later time.
Even better. Okay.
I do.
Any other questions or comments?
Nope.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve professional service agreement with 7NT?
Motion to approve?
By Mr. Clark, is there a second?
Second.
By Mrs. Browner. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that carries 3-0. Thank you, Sri.
Sri.
Item E, and the last item on the agenda today, approval of Resolution 16, 2021, the disposal of surplus items. This is something we do at least every 2 months, it seems like. Are there any questions on those items that you have before you? Okay. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 16, 2021?
Motion to approve.
Mr. Clark.
Resolution.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
By Mrs. Browner. Questions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries aye, 3-0. So approval of Resolution 16, 2021 is approved. Comments of administration, and we have Chief Woodruff coming forward.
I want to quickly remind everyone, especially the viewers, that Community Safety Day is Saturday, August 14th. Is coming Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Fire Station 40. This is going to be an all-time good. We didn't get to do it last year, so I just want to make sure everybody was invited to Community Safety Day Saturday.
Are you guys going to win a chicken wing contest this year?
I know it's going to be a close one. Fire department gets lots of practice with that, so.
Be a close effort, all right. Thank you for that public service announcement there, Chief. As far as administration, I did want to commend the railroad crossings that if any of you have been through 59th Street out here, Sunnyside Road or Oak Landing Road, compliments to our mayor and all his efforts, Sri, on your part. And I know it's been quite an effort to get this resolved over the last 2 years, but I think everybody appreciates it in the city that we can save on shock absorbers and tires now. So thanks so much for taking the ball and running with it and getting it finished for us. Any other comments of administration? We do have the mayor here today. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Doug, for that compliment. I mentioned Kyle Walker, too. Kyle had a lot of people.
Yeah, Kyle Walker was an integral part of the effort of kind of a team effort, I think, as we'd say back in the old football days, but great job by the team. So we're thankful. We do now come to the citizens' comments.
One thing from the city.
Oh, go ahead, Mr.
You should have all received an invitation for 6 o'clock this evening, the Trades District.
Yes.
We're going to create a lot of work for you. So if you want to see what we're committing you to, you might want to hang out for that.
Thank you very much. Yes, we did get the invite. I think most of the board did. 6 o'clock? Okay. That's another comment there from Dan. Appreciate that. Citizens' comments?
I guess I'll be the citizen.
All right. As you know, I know you, Rick, but state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Rick Wells, and I'm the city councilman for District 2. And I wanted to share some concerns that I had with a recent vote that y'all did with the towing contract. Okay. I don't know if any of you know, but that is in my district. The previous company and the new company, both within my district. I did view the both meetings, the one in June and the one in July. Excuse me. Some of the things that were said, and I wish I could have been here, but you know, work constraints, and then the one in July trying to get across 70 was like, forget that. So I was like late, and you guys are all done. But I'm not really here to argue what happened in those meetings. I will say I'm very familiar with Zor's new property because I rented that property myself in the beginnings of my company for a number of years. So I'm very familiar with what the capacities and capabilities of those buildings are. I know for a fact that the building will not hold as many cars as stated in the RFP. I know for a fact that the lot size is not adequate for as many cars in the RFP. I doubt, respectfully disagree with the administration on the zoning, but that's to be decided at a later time, I suppose. I don't think there was an argument about the sanitary situation. It was suggested at one of these meetings that these people in a 24/7 office situation use a porta-john. I know that those buildings don't have running water or any toilet facilities in them. I honestly don't want anybody operating a business, especially a 24/7 business in my district, using a porta-john. And I checked with Board of Health, and they actually referred me to IOSHA, and they got reams and reams of paper as to why that is not going to be permitted. But yet, it still had happened. Since it's happened, they missed the deadline as when they were going to open. Understandably, Lawrence Towing had quit. I, under the circumstances, couldn't understand why they did. So giving the new company a bit of a leeway, they also missed the target date as of the first of the month. I've gotten numerous calls from citizens, and I've also gotten multiple calls from police officers that are having issues with this company. And they said, I'm a little dumbfounded they just got a raise, substantial raise, when we had other companies that were looking to do this contract. One was trying to keep it, for the money that the council had set forth. And I guess maybe I missed something, but I thought that the council set these rates and we just gave them a raise. I mean, doesn't that have to go before the council? But
I would
anyway.
defer to city legal on that. Is that a question? I guess you're
Well, and that'll be a
proposing.
question that we can raise later, because
Okay.
I don't know, I know the council sets these rates.
Right.
It also has come to my attention, and I gave this document, it's a bill from this company. They were charging more than the council had allocated for an accident towing, and they were also charging more for accident storage.
No.
I have the bill right here, and I have another concern was, and some of the concerns that the citizens have brought forth to me, is they're not open 24/7. They have a sign that says open, and a lot of times, especially every evening or early morning hours, there's nobody there. You can walk in the door and you can walk in the facility, but there's nobody in there. And so I put that to the test myself, and I have video of me walking in their building with their sign lit up saying open, and there's nobody there. I have a video of a man whose truck was in an accident at 56 and Franklin Road, and this was around 7 in the evening, 7:30 in the evening. Him and his mother was standing outside the gate. I have video of this man walking into that office and him coming out. He says, there's nobody in there. And he's there trying to get his insulin out of his truck, because his truck apparently got totaled, deployed the airbags, and he was pretty shook up. So he didn't think to get his insulin, at the accident scene. I guess he thought he could get it after the fact. But I sat there with him, and it was like 27 minutes for one of the record drivers to show up to come and open the gate so this man could get his insulin out of his truck. And it astonishes me that, that we would that they would even consider asking for a raise 30 days, into the contract. It's just astonishing. And it's more astonishing that they got it. Or at least I'm not so sure about that, because here again, I think the council sets that forth. I got a list here of what we approved once before. So, matter of fact, if any of you happen to go by Midhofer and, let's see, Pendleton Pike and Midhofer at the Aspen Dental, there's a front end of a car laying there in the curb that from an accident last Saturday they never picked up. And I made mention to the police department about it, and it's still laying there. So, quite clearly, I don't see any purpose any benefit to the citizens or to the police department for this contract, or for changing the contract. I'm sure there was a reason, but I just failed to see any benefit. So just wanted to let you know what's been going on.
Thank you, Rick. I'll let you research the council.
And I will. Oh, and
program
also,
and,
one more thing, the council is going to take steps to try and protect the citizen of these overcharging. We're going to try to do signage or, make them do something. We've been talking with the attorneys, and it's just whatever legal says we can, that we can enforce or we can implement. But we are going to take steps because it doesn't look like that this situation is going to change.
Well, we have 100% confidence in the police department. They thoroughly vetted this process and picked who they believe, and I believe, are the most competent for this contract. Did you used to own Lawrence Trucking?
I'm sorry?
Did you used to own that towing company, Lawrence Towing?
Did I know him?
Own it?
Did I own him? No, I never owned
Okay,
Lawrence Towing.
I was just checking.
I'm a councilman, sir. I'm trying to look out for my citizens of my
No,
district.
and our board is 100% confident and support the recommendation of the police department. But I do appreciate all of your concern, and we will take that into consideration, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. And Chief, I guess we have a part of a car that maybe you can look into with Rick. I'm not sure where that's exactly, that bumper. Since we have Chief Woodruff here, he probably can get somebody on it. It's at Aspen Dental. Is that where it's hanging out? I don't know.
Check on that. To my understanding, that's already been addressed, but
Okay.
I'll double check and make sure.
Good.
If it hasn't, it will be.
Thank you. Appreciate it. At this time, I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn because we have another meeting in here in about 2 minutes ago. So is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
By Mr. Clark. Second?
Second.
By Mrs. Browner. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.